for president, I explained to them, well, you know, I'm not trying to fulfill any long-held plans. I know that people were digging up my kindergarten papers. Said I wrote an essay. I was a pretty bright kid, but I don't remember writing essays when I was in kindergarten. I could write my name, all right? I could write Mom, M-O-M. I'm going to be disclosing my papers from kindergarten tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff in there. I was experimenting at the time, coloring beyond the lines. Listen, I'm not running to fulfill any long-held plans. I'm not running because I think this is somehow owed to me. I am running because of what Dr. King called the fierce urgency of now. The fierce urgency of now. See, I don't want to spend the next few years just having the same old arguments and not getting anything done. I don't want to pit red America against blue America. I'm going to be the President of the United States of America. I don't want to wake up 4 years from now and find out that we still have millions of people without health insurance because we didn't have the courage to take on the insurance industry. I don't want to find out that the oceans have risen a few more inches, that the planet has reached a point of no return because we didn't have the foresight to wean ourselves off of fossil fuels and find clean energies that would power our economy. Find out that we're still divided by race, that we haven't made any progress along the road of a more perfect union. I don't want to see young men languishing in jails or on our street corners, and the rest of us just taking it for granted, saying that's the way it is. Because that's not the way it has to be. That's not the way America has to be. We can dream something bigger than that. I don't want to find out that we put more American lives at risk because we didn't have the judgment or the courage to ask the tough questions before we sent our young men and women in uniform off to fight in some distant land. I don't want to see homeless veterans on the streets. I don't want to send another generation of our children through failing schools. I don't want that future for our daughters. I don't want that future for your sons. I don't want that future for America. That's why I'm in this race. Different America. I'm in this race for the same reason that I fought on those streets of Chicago for those folks who lost their jobs over 2 decades ago. For the same reason I fought equality and justice as a civil rights attorney. For the same reason that I studied and taught the Constitution of the United States. For the same reason I fought for working families in Illinois all these years. Because I know that the only reason I'm standing here today, the only reason that Oprah Winfrey is here, the only reason that Michelle Obama is here, the only reason that so many of us are here is because somebody, somewhere, stood up when it was risky. They stood up when it was hard. They stood up when it wasn't popular. They stood up so women